We've been listening to Pujyapad Bhaktivedanta Bhakhanis Maharaj speak very wonderfully about this heart-wrenching pastime of Mahaprabhu's Sannyas Leela, and how he went to this Ghat, Nirdaya Ghat, means the place where there is no mercy, Nirdaya. In Navadvip, Dhoy is something very, prominent and special. Those who have been to Navadvip Dham Parikrama, you can taste Misti Dhoy, sweet mercy. This means yogurt also. For those who have gone, Misti Dhoy, it's the sweetest preparation. It's very thick, the essence of the sweetness of Gaur Leela. So in Navadvip, like we were seeing in the video, everything is full of happiness, joy, excitement. Seeing, with Sachinandan Gaur Hari, when Mahaprabhu appeared, he filled everyone with so much joy. This is his great mercy, Dhoya. But yet there is this place in Navadvip, you could say one place in Navadvip that is almost going against the conception of mercy. How is that? That everything in Navadvip is completely immersed in mercy of the Lord. Mahaprabhu's pastimes, they are merciful pastimes, Audarya Leela. It means magnanimous. Mahaprabhu is the most merciful. What do we sing? Parama Karuna Pahu Dvijan Nitai Gaura Chandra. Mahaprabhu is the most merciful. Nityananda is the most merciful. And yet, how is it that at this place there's no mercy, Nirdaya? This is the Ghat, the place. So, it's something very interesting that we have to kind of dive into the conception of our Swarup Rupanuga Gaudiya Parampara to understand, especially our beloved Srila Gurudev. We heard the pastime how Mahaprabhu decided, I must take sannyas. I must take sannyas to preach this. He has come here not only to perform sweet pastimes with the Navadvipasis. What is the place in Braj that this is kind of corollary to? That is Akrura Ghat. Very interesting. Akrura Ghat means without cruelty, Akrura. And yet the Brajbasis say his name should be Krura, the most cruel. He is not Akrura, he is cruel. And so in Braj, it's very interesting. The place where Krishna leaves Braj is called the place without cruelty, Akrura. The place where Mahaprabhu leaves and becomes Sannyasi Chaitanya is called the place without mercy, Nirdaya. So it's very interesting. Mahaprabhu had already known that he would take sannyas. So before I get into that, I want to just mention a couple things. Why it's Nirdaya. We worship Mahaprabhu. How do we worship him? We worship him as Sachinandan Gaur Hari, the son of Mother Sachi. Vishnu Priya Pranadan, the beloved of Vishnu Priya, Gadadhara Pranadan. Nimai, Gauranga. When we have Gaurnitai deities, they have this very beautiful, lustrous, shiny black locks. And so, to see Mahaprabhu with shaved head, very difficult. Shamarani Mataji's beautiful painting of Gaurnitai, they have very beautiful, long hair. This is Gauranga. So Gurudev says that when we chant our Gayatri mantra to worship Gauranga, what are we chanting? Are we worshipping Chaitanya as sannyasi or Gauranga, householder? Gurudev says we are worshipping Gauranga. Gaura prachodayat. We are meditating on Gaura with beautiful hair, and we meditate on Gaura Astakaliya Leela. Gurudev would say we should not jump and meditate on Radha Krishna's pastimes. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives us Gauranga's pastimes. And those pastimes are in Navadvip. So Astakaliya Leela Smaran, the eightfold daily time segments of Mahaprabhu's Leela that we meditate upon, those are in Navadvip as Gaur. So if he leaves Navadvip and becomes a sannyasi, this is showing some kind of cruelty, Nirdaya. So that is one understanding. Vishwambaraya. This Vishwambar is Sachinandan. He is not Sannyasi Chaitanya. So Gurudev would say that Mahaprabhu's Puri pastimes and his pastimes also in Godavari, where he met with Rai Ramananda, those are not as elevated as Mahaprabhu's Navadvip pastimes. Those Navadvip pastimes are the topmost pastimes of Mahaprabhu. When Lord Brahma prays, Bhaje Sweta Dvipam, he is referring to Mayapur or Navadvip. So this is important to remember. First of all, as devotees, we worship Sachinandan Gaur Hari, Gauranga Mahaprabhu. But we also take shelter of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Every time before we chant Mahamantra, what do we chant? Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Chaitanya, this is the sannyas title of Mahaprabhu. Therefore, for us, Chaitanya is also worshipable. And he's giving us very valuable lessons. Krishna, in Radharani's dream, we heard from Gurudev. Radharani once had a dream where she saw this very beautiful golden Brahmin, sannyasi, dancing with great love. And she felt some attraction towards him. And so when she awoke, she asked Krishna, who is this personality? I was very attracted to him as if he was you. And Krishna said, yes, this is me. I will go in Kali Yuga, I will appear again as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I will appear first as Sachinandan, as Nimai, as Gauranga, taking on your complexion, your moods. Radha Bhava Dyuti Suvalitam Nomi Krishna Swarupam. Krishna came with the bhava and duty, the moods and the complexion of Srimati Radhika. And then he performed his pastimes in Navadvip, and then he performed his sannyas pastimes. So when Mahaprabhu went to Nirdaya Ghata, really, we should understand that Nirdayata, meaning his cruelty, you could say, it's actually one form of his amandodhaya dhoya, unparalleled mercy. Really, it's actually a form of his mercy. When we sing about Sri Krishna, adharam madhuram, everything about Krishna is sweet. Even his chastisement is sweet. Even his neglect, you could say, is sweet. Meaning, even if he goes away from us, there must be something there that is beneficial. So we heard from Maharaj a little bit about separation and meeting. Vipralamba and Sambhog. This meeting and separation are described to be the two shores of the river of love. Right? For there to be a river, it must have two banks. One side is meeting, one side is separation. With our tilak, you could say one line is meeting, one line is separation. And then we have where they are joined together. So Mahaprabhu is that personality who in one form is Radha Krishna. So Radha Krishna are now together. You could say they're never separated because they're in one form now. And yet he is relishing the moods of separation. And so our acharyas, like especially Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj, he teaches us that separation is very valuable. Sometimes in meeting, you do not fully appreciate what you have with you. And yet in separation, in that burning longing of absence of your beloved, at that point you can no longer tolerate the pangs of separation, and that brings about meeting that is renewed, that is enhanced. So separation enhances the sweetness of meeting. And so in this example, when Mahaprabhu became a sannyasi, he crossed over the bathing place and crossed over the Mandakini Ganga late at night, and then he took sannyas from Keshav Bharati. What sannyas did he take? Gopi mantra. Sannyasi mantra is the Gopi Bhav mantra in our line. And so really what he is doing is taking a vow to follow the footsteps of the Braja Gopis. When Radharani had this dream of Krishna as Mahaprabhu, Krishna said, I will go and I will take sannyas because I want to follow your footsteps and try to understand your love. Mahaprabhu had two desires, internal. Prema rasa niryasa korite swadana. Raga marga bhakti loke korite pracharan. Rashika Shekara Krishna Paramakarun Edvi Haitu Kori Lila Udgam. He came to relish the moods of Srimati Radhika's love. And he thought, unless I become Ananya, one-pointed like Radharani, like the gopis, I will not fully experience this. In Navadvip, surrounded by all his associates, he's always in the joy of meeting with all of his associates. Gadadhar Pandit also there. But when he takes sannyas, in that deep moods of separation, he can experience the highest limit of prem and the true internal meeting. When Radharani was in the lap of Krishna at Prem Sarovar, even though she was in the lap of Krishna, when she heard from Madhumangal, oh, Madhusudan has gone, even though it was a bumblebee, she began to lament in separation, thinking, where is my Prananath? Where is my Krishna? And Krishna saw this and thought, how great her love is. Even though she is with me, she is feeling separation. Her love is so great, even I cannot understand that. So Mahaprabhu thought, I must come and take on her moods and as a devotee, experience this prem. So therefore Mahaprabhu thought, Shri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Kidriso Vanayaiva. What is the glory of Srimati Radhika's love? Swadyo Yenadbhuta Madhurima Kidriso Veti Lobat, with greed to taste that mood of Srimati Radhika's love. And also, Raga Marga Bhakti Loke Korite Pracharan, because of the desire to spread that love everywhere and to let people understand the true nature of prem. He came as Sachinandan Gaur Hari and he took sannyas. So from a worldly point of view, this is something that is lacking of mercy. But from the spiritual point of view, this is the most mercy. For us, you could say Swami Prabhupada or Srila Gurudev. Many Mathura Basis I know, they say, oh, Gurudev, when he went to the West, he left us almost the whole year in so much separation. I lived in Mathura Keshaji Gaudiya Math for 7 years. So I know all the Mathura Basis say, oh, Gurudev, why did he go to the West? Why did he go to the West? So they say, oh, Gurudev, when he would travel to Delhi and go on the airplane, oh, this is like Nirdaya, without mercy. But for us, was that merciful or not? If Gurudev had not come to us, what would have our lives have been? If Gurudev had not come, what would our lives have been without him? Jadi Gurudev na asito, tabi ki hoito kemano dharite de. If Gurudev had not come, how would we have lived? When Swami Prabhupada came to the West, he was writing, March 6th, we were reading his diary notes, saying, oh, today they are celebrating Adivas of Gaur Purnima, the day before Gaur Purnima. And yet I am alone here. Why have I come? But my Krishna has sent me, my Gurudev has sent me, therefore I am here. So therefore, if Mahaprabhu had not taken sannyas and preached and established this Sarinam Sankirtan movement, how would we have understood the glories of Braja Bhakti? Therefore we sing, Jadi Gauranga na hito tabi ki hoito kemano dhari dude. If Mahaprabhu had not come, how would we have survived? What would be the point of our life? Radhara Mahima Prema Rasa Sima Jagate Janato Ke. Who would have janato? Means who would have taught the world about the glories of Braja Prem, of Srimati Radhika's topmost Prema Rasa Sima, the topmost limit of love, if Mahaprabhu had not gone out and preached? It is not enough to keep it hidden in one place. Mahaprabhu came not only to taste it, Prem Ras Niryas, but also to preach it. Raga Marga Bhakti Loke Kodite Pracharan, to preach it everywhere. So therefore he took sannyas. And this is the most merciful thing. Why? Pati Sutanvaya Bratri Bandivan Ati Vilangyate Anchachutagata. The gopis were ready to give up everything for the beloved Sri Krishna. Pati Sutanvaya Bratri Bandavan. The gopis gave up all family attachments. Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings, Gare na jaibo bane praveshibo o lila raseratare tyaji kula laj bhaja brajaraj vinoda minati kore. Tyaji kula laj bhaja brajaraj vinoda minati kore. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, I will give up all worldly connections, kula laj, only to worship and develop the moods of the Brajabasis, to develop that devotion to Brajaraj Shri Krishna. For that purpose, Gare na jaibo, I will not return home. Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings, I will not return home. Gare na jaibo, vane pravesibo, I will become a mendicant, enter into the forest. This is what Prahlad Maharaj taught Hiranyakashipu, his father. Tat sadhu manye suravarya dehinam sada samudigna dhyam sadgrahat hidvat mapatam griham andakupam vanam gatoyad harim ashrayata. Prahlad Maharaj said, oh great demon, you think you are so great, but the real best thing I've learned is you should go to the forest and worship Hari. Go to Vrindavan. Therefore, what did Mahaprabhu do? Mukunda sevan vrata koila nidharan. Taking a firm vow, I will perform one pointed worship of Sri Mukunda Krishna. Seves koilagya Vrindavana. Taking on that vesh, that sannyas path, that path of the renunciant. He said, I will embark towards Vrindavan, following the footsteps of the Braja Gopis. What do we sing? Hari bolbo yaar madana mohan heri bogo. When will we go to Vrindavan? When will I go back to Vrindavan? Krishna is yearning like this as Mahaprabhu. Therefore, he took the vow of sannyas, showing the importance of giving up all material attachments. Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings, Krishna rasangsara kor chadi anachar jive doya Krishna nam sarva dharmasar. The true essence of all religion, of all spiritual paths, jive doya Krishna nam sarva dharmasar. You must give compassion to the jivas. So Mahaprabhu, if he had remained in Navadvip, Mahaprabhu saw, we heard from Bhakanis Maharaj. He was telling the boys in his school, Gopi, Gopi, Gopi. They said, oh, why are you chanting Gopi, Gopi? Chant Narayan, Narayan, Narayan. Mahaprabhu was trying to show them, give them this Gopi Bhav, Braja Prem, showing the glories of Brajabasi. Aradyo Bhagavan Brajesatanyastad Dhama Brindavana Ramya Kachirupasana Vrajavadeva Gena Yakalpita Shrimad Bhagavatang Pramanang Amalam Prema Pumarthamoham Shri Chaitanya Matamadortha Tradharona Parha. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, this is the opinion of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya came to teach us this. Mahaprabhu saw, as Nimai, as Gauranga, even his own schoolmates who were actually taking lessons from him. Jagate Janatoke. The schoolboys were taking lessons from Mahaprabhu. And yet when he tried to preach about Braja Prem, they began to criticize him and rebuke him. Why are you chanting like this? Oh, Nimai is becoming like a madman. And Mahaprabhu picked up a stick and began to chase him, showing, I will take sannyas. He picked up a danda to chastise. In this world, we are so attached to our worldly possessions, our families, everything, our career, our possessions. But without Krishna Prem, our life is void. Therefore, Mahaprabhu said, I must take sannyas to truly preach. Then people will listen to me. But externally, there is some pain in the Navadvip Bhasis. For us, there is pain. We do not want Mahaprabhu to take sannyas. But if we want to be in the mood of Mahaprabhu, if we want to have the mood of Mahaprabhu, we should want this to be spread. Thank you, I see. We should want to spread this. Mahaprabhu said, let it go out. Gare gare jao mange bhiksha. Go house to house. Pritiviti ache jata nagaradi gram sarvatra prachar hoibe moranam. Go everywhere. So, like I said in the beginning, Mathura Basis did not like when Gurudev left. But was that merciful for us or not? I think we're all very happy that Gurudev came to the West. Speaking myself personally, I know that if I had not met Gurudev when I was a young boy, I would not be here now. So, therefore, we always, Mahaprabhu, everything he does is sweet and merciful. And this is his greatest mercy, showing the proper sannyas dharma with the mood of Braja Bhakti and the Braja Gopis. This is the purpose of our societies. Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavitamati. How can we develop this Krishna Bhakti Ras, this pure Krishna consciousness? To develop this mood, we must become one-pointed. So sannyas ashram means gopis are real sannyasis. External vesh is ultimately not required. Like Gadadhar Pandit, Maharaj was saying. But for the sake of preaching, it is beneficial. But really, we want to develop these internal moods. Even though we are in society, in our families, let us develop Krishna Sangsar. Krishna be the center of our life. Vanchakapatarubhisa kripa sindhuveva chapatitanang pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Thank you so much for speaking, Mahaprabhu. It's really interesting that you spoke about the position of who we're actually praying to. Are we praying to Mahaprabhu or are we praying to Nimai? And with that perspective, we can have an idea of actually how to feel in that place of Nirdaya. So depending on that, we can make an assessment on that relationship. So it's really really interesting you said that, and I'm really grateful that you also referred to when Srila Gurudev left Mathura to come to the West, and how the Mathura Vasis were feeling at that time. And actually, whenever Gurudev left any place, it was like that. It was like, why are you leaving us? Why do you have to go? Even if you were gonna get on a flight the next day to meet him at the next location, it was like, don't leave. And it was always that case. You see so many videos of devotees feeling like that too. So you spoke some very beautiful examples of why this place is so important for us, and actually how merciful Mahaprabhu is to us. So I can say for myself in particular how merciful he is, because he didn't have to do that, but he did for someone fallen like me. So thank you so much. I wonder if you will be able to stay back for question and answers just after this next video.
I'll stay as long as possible.